Yo, peace,
What's up?
bro.
What's
How
up, brother?
you? How you,
Man,
man?
I'm doing good. How's everything?
Everything is good, man. I wanted to start off definitely by saying what up, and we proud of you, man. But I wanted to tell a story from back in the days. You probably gonna remember. You probably gonna start laughing. That's probably why you laughing now. But this guy here, man. I remember we used to play football at Kings Bay in Brooklyn. And since he was young, he's younger than me, guys. I'm letting y'all know this. I have not spoken to him in years. This is the first time right now. And he was on a team younger than me, and he was a firecracker. When I tell you, he's a firecracker, one of the best free safeties in the game. He was hitting. But what was always so impressive about this guy is that he coached actually afterwards and helped out coaching. But he was young. When I tell you young, he wasn't no grown man coaching. This was us on the sidelines helping younger kids at this time. I think he was on the Lions. I might have been at Lincoln. And I
Yeah.
used to come back and you used to be on the sideline after a game with a book bag on, running, yelling, calling plays in people's face. The same smile that you got now, the same energy you got now. And I think that's amazing, bro. I think that's amazing that they say, yo, Lamar Whitehead. I said, Lamar Whitehead, why that name sound familiar? I'm like, I played ball with this guy, man. This guy coached me. We coached the team to the championship. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that, man. Yeah, man. How can I forget that, man? How can I forget that? What's up, brother? How you doing?
Everything is good, man. Everything is good. How
Yeah.
did some of that play into your leadership, man? Because that's a long time being a leader, bro. This is nothing new for you.
You know that actually playing organized football actually disciplined me for life. You know what I mean? Because man, playing for Kings Bay, you know, you know, we didn't even look at the color of our coach's skin, man. They loved us. You know what I'm saying?
They
And
love this.
they taught us the etiquette. They taught us discipline. They taught us, how you get your head popped off if you don't do the right
Yeah.
thing. I
Sticking
mean,
your brotherhood, sticking up for each other, making sure you there for your man on the field, on the sidelines, all that was built at that time.
yeah, man, it's just, there's a lot of things that I'm finding out why I'm the person who I am today. And I have to give thanks to the coaches. I played football, I played basketball, and just to understand the dynamics of life. You know what I mean? The discipline, like when you run a track play, you gotta let somebody in for them to track. You know what I mean? So all
Yeah,
those,
yeah.
and it's like discipline, like don't block him, let him in. And in life, sometimes you got to let certain people in so they get tracked. So it
Absolutely.
really helped me. It really helped me formulate who I am and become who I am. So yeah, that definitely played. And then also just you guys, man. You was older than us. However, we used to pop junk. We
All day.
pop junk, and that's why, with me running for the Brooklyn Borough presidency, nobody can't tell me nothing. Like, I've always been who I am, and that
Always.
I've always been who I am, and I'm never going to
And
change.
I was just watching something that you were speaking about recently. I don't know how long ago it was, but it was about accountability. And I think that, like you said, I was there trying to, pop y'all heads off, but the accountability was on the other end because it was like, these little dudes are about to be a headache because they're about to give us problems in the scrimmage. They little dudes, we supposed to just brush them out of here, but y'all was bringing it. So the accountability was important in that brotherhood and that bond. And like, you see a lot of, how's the sports scene right now in New York? Like, how is the Kings Bay thing? Is that needed to be worked
Well,
on or what?
they've been struggling. Pop Warner been really struggling, man, and that's what I want to bring back, man. I want to bring sports back to Brooklyn. I want to start. I want to pump money into Pop Warner. I want to pump money into the high schools, redo fields, redo gyms. I want to get back to the community. Once I become the Brooklyn Borough president, and this is one of the reasons why I'm running because the borough president who's in office now, he's my mentor. And he's opened the door for change, and now it's time for me to change things, right? And in order for change, we have to have someone that understands why we need change, right? And just growing up with Pop Warner, man, and beefing with the Skyhawks and beefing with the Hurricanes,
It was healthy.
yeah, that was healthy. It wasn't nobody shooting no one. We didn't like Roosevelt. We
Right.
ain't like the Springfield Rifles. We ain't like the
Very.
Limits. But you know, at the end of the day, we left it on the field, right?
Yeah. Very. Yep.
Shootouts and different things of that nature. So I want to be able to bring back organizations, and I want to bring back sports to Brooklyn better than ever. You know, I want to pump millions and millions of dollars into creating a whole web of healing for our community, right? And a lot of these other candidates that's running, they're politicians, man. It's going to be the same old, same old. So, you know, I'm one of you guys, right? I have the intellect. I have two churches. I'm a businessman. I've been doing real estate for over 20 years. I'm very successful in that. I'm from the streets, you know, so I've never been a part of a gang, but all the gang members love me because I look out for them, and I should. So it's just I'm very diverse, and you know, one of the things that I appreciate you guys for is how you communicate with the culture, with our culture, and there is a staggering statistic that I don't think people know, and this statistic in Brooklyn, from the ages of 18 years old to 45 years old, right, there's over 250 to 300,000 people in that range of from 18 to 45, right? And from that age of 18 to 45 in Brooklyn, 95% of those people never knew that Brooklyn had a borough president.
Right.
They
Right.
knew the president of Brooklyn ever existed.
Right.
So our job is to wake everyone up and say, look, Brooklyn can change. There can be a whole
Yes.
more money in Brooklyn. Like
And,
Brooklyn. Hmm?
and that's an important position. Like I know for me, I know growing up, I always knew that they had something to do with the Wingate and the things that brought liveliness to Brooklyn and stuff like that. And my research, I know you keep saying you want to pump money into different programs. People don't even realize. In my research, I was looking, and it says that the borough president split 5%. I could be wrong. I could be all 5% of the city budget for things like that within the city. So that's a big position that people are overlooking. That's president of Brooklyn.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
big.
yeah. And you got to also understand too, right? Not only do we have influence over the city's money because the mayor has a $92 billion budget, right? And Brooklyn, we have a few hundreds of millions of dollars in the budget for the borough president. However, the diversity and the connections that I have a lot of philanthropists that want to donate to Brooklyn. So I'm never going to be boxed into only the money that I have as a government official, but I'm also going to outsource and bring more money in because at the end of the day, how can you change something you know nothing about, right? All
Right.
these officials, when they talk about change, I was on a panel discussion, and I just was like, I'm just so tired of listening to y'all, and y'all really don't even understand. You know, there's a difference between being a part of what needs to be changed and reading about what needs to be changed. See, I am a product of y'all. So
I was about
I
to say you've been in Brooklyn since.
yeah,
Yeah.
knew that I needed change, right? I didn't have to read about it. Like I knew what needed to be changed. I knew what I needed to do for change. See, they read about what's going on. They read about what's happening and they say, okay, well, we have to change this and we have to get that changed. No, I am a product of change, right?
Right.
And I understand that if we are able to empower young black men like yourself and Asian men and Caucasian and Russian men, and if we can all when have all young men of all ethnicities came together to say, "Yo, we're gonna do this together," right?
Mhm.
And you know, at the end of the day, right, all we got to do is come together, man. And this is gonna be big, y'all. When I tell you this is gonna be big, this is gonna be monumental, man. Another statistic that you guys might not know: Brooklyn was a city back in the 1600s. It was founded by the Dutch, right?
Judge.
In 1898, it was converted into boroughs because they went under the jurisdiction of New York City. However, if Brooklyn would have still stayed as a city today, right, Brooklyn would be the fourth largest city in the United States of America. The only cities that's bigger than Brooklyn is Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York. So
Wow.
we are one of the most powerful communities as a borough in the world. Because if we're the fourth largest city in the most powerfulest country in the world,
That's big.
that means we fourth in charge.
That's big.
That's
What do you see for that? Like, what do you see? Like, what is this grandeur? What is all this that we have from Brooklyn? What's your vision of it? Like, what do you see for the future for Brooklyn? Not even a far future. Like, what kind of things do you see in play?
Man, I see so much in place, man. First of all, I see when I want to put the torch in a lot of our young people's hands, right? I want to do things that's groundbreaking. I want to do things that, for example, I want to build the first Brooklyn Black-owned bank, the Brooklyn Black
Mm,
Minority Bank. I want to be able to let minorities own shares in their own bank, right? Which will open up lines of credit for people like us that have been getting turned down by the commercial banks. When we have a bank and when we build and establish one bank, now we get more banks in Brooklyn, and we can bring those banks in other states and other countries. However, when we become stakeholders of things that we never had stake in, then therefore we automatically become powerful. Another thing that I want to do is I want to bring Wall Street, Black Wall Street, to Brooklyn. Why is Wall
mm,
Street on Wall Street? I want to be able to create a Wall Street in Brooklyn. So therefore, Brooklynites and people like that are black and brown and all other minorities can come together and they can trade on one floor. Why can't our children in New York, excuse me, in Brooklyn, have the ability to say we have a Wall Street in Brooklyn too? Why can't Brooklyn Wall Street and Wall Street in the city work hand in hand, right? So I want to bring
mm.
a different dynamic, a different culture, a different understanding. I want to push money into Brooklyn. I want to be able to create entrepreneurs in Brooklyn, right? Because we all talk about it, but how in the world do um, people who are not citizens come to the United States of America, come to Brooklyn, and they get a stipend of $50,000 to $100,000 just because of
Right,
their culture and where they came? But yet, the people that are already here, we don't get anything. So I want to
right.
establish free 501(c)(3)s, right? Because how can you be in a conversation to get government money or money, federal or state government money, if you can't afford to obtain 501(c)(3)s, right? So we have been neglected.
Hmm.
Um, we have been neglected. We have been bamboozled, and we have been comfortable in a demise situation where our destiny has been demised. And the thing about it is this: um, the Bible says in Habakkuk 2:2, write the vision and make it plain, right? And my thing is this: I'm tired of us complaining, right? Now you have an opportunity to put one of us in office for change.
With the plan for us at that, like not just us, because you're speaking about everybody, but that's inclusive of us. Like you just said, Black Bank. You want to see people of different ethnicities in place like that. What's the What's your feedback? Because this is a powerful message. It's powerful visuals that we get from you, just in the work that you do. A lot of philanthropy coming from yourself, I see. What's the feedback? This is a new Brooklyn. This is a new Brooklyn, so to speak. So I know you got a lot of different people telling you a lot of different stuff or not wanting to hear what you have to say. Is it love? Like not just from us, I mean, but from everybody?
Well, to be honest with you, there's a lot of fear from other politicians because they know I've been doing this for some time. They know that I'm for the people. They know I've been doing. I've been a pastor for almost 8 years now. I have two churches. Nobody helped me get it. Um, I see my wife up here, y'all. Let me shout my wife out, Lady Asia Chen. Hey, babe. My wife is
Shouts out the first lady, definitely.
yeah. And that's another thing, y'all. When have we ever had a first family of Brooklyn, right?
No, we
When
need this. This visual is
right,
super important.
yeah.
This is super important. Not just the work. The work is going to be important. I know, like I know what you're capable of. I know what you're going to do. But just right now, just this whole thing is a beautiful thing. I want to get in. I want a little bit in a minute. We're gonna get into the bishop things. I want to know what happened. What was your path to that? Because
So,
like I
so you
said,
know, because I'm gonna be here with you, but let me just finish answering your question, right?
yeah.
So to answer your question, as far as the feedback, there's a lot of fear from
Hmm.
politics because politicians have been using the backs of the oppressed, right, in order
Hmm.
for them to step on us for their gains, right? So I'm not a politician. I'm going to be an elected official. I've been doing the work. So at the end of the day, right, they fear that I don't look to go higher in any office. So that means I'm going to do the work. Now, when I do the work, that means you're not going to be oppressed no more by what they have allowed to oppress you. So now it's their strength, right? So I don't desire to go higher unless God tells me, right? And this is why I just started raising money in January. They've been raising money for 3 years, right? I've given away over $50,000 between the months of November and December back to the community, shutting down grocery stores, giving away turkeys, toys, you name it. But they were raising money, right? So at the end of the day, I'm showing the people like, listen, all we got to do is come out. So the feedback is this. Everybody saying, yo, Bishop, that's dope. But they're all saying too, like, yo, we know you've been doing the work. We with you. But at the end of the day, you know our people, we talk the talk, but we
Gotta
don't,
show up.
right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, what they're banking on, some politicians called me. They said, yo, you really think they're going to come out and vote? You know what they said to me? They said, yo, if they do come out, because you do have the strength, but if they do come out, you win by a landslide. But they said, they're not coming out. That's what they tell me. They said, we tried it. They're not coming out. And I said, no, y'all tried it. Y'all don't look like them. I
Right.
look, right?
Right.
And I said, now, if they don't come out for me, now we deserve what we get, right? We deserve what we get now. You know what I'm saying?
That's big. You're
Yeah.
right. You're right.
It's on us now.
It's a lot of candidates though. Like, what's that about? It's 10. What is it? 10 or is it?
Like, I think it's over 12. Now, let me tell you why. Because they since, we don't vote, right? They just pulled another, they just slipped us another Mickey. And what the Mickey is, they have a new voting system called ranked choice voting. And what that is let's say you have 5 candidates, right? Out of the 5 candidates, right, you have to choose who you pick first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, right? So they're gonna be boxes for all the candidates. So let's say you guys pick me number 1, then you pick somebody else number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. Now I'm telling people, you pick me number 1 and you keep pushing. But I got to talk to my lawyers about that just to see if that's legal. Anyway, we'll get back to that. So let's say y'all pick me 1, 2, 3, and y'all pick me 1. You pick the other people 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. Now, at the end of the voting that night, whoever have the lowest votes, they lose. They out the race. But whoever chose them as number 1, whoever they picked as their number 2 gets all of their votes.
Oh,
Yeah.
it gets
Yeah.
tricky.
Oh, it's tricky, baby. It is tricky. You want to know why, y'all? Because Brooklyn is the most valuable city in the country. Let me tell you something. In the country, we have the most wealth.
Yeah.
I'm telling y'all this. So now y'all see all these buildings going up in Brooklyn. Y'all just look at it like, oh, okay, cool. Another building. Oh, I would like to live there. Why do you want to just live there? Why can't you own it? Right?
Right.
Right? Like, let me tell y'all something. The buildings that go up, right? The borough president have to sign off on it. Any rezoning, any land usage, I have to sign off on it.
Right.
So all of these rezoning, like you see a 4-family building here, and right across the street, you see a 40-unit building here. That means that something had to be rezoned. That means something had to be rezoned. And at the end of the day, we become players now. We become players in the conversation, because you guys know I ain't selling you out for what? I'm not. You know what I told everybody? I said, listen, not only am I not going to sell you out, but I'm not even going to take a salary.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Donate that or
donating my salary back? And I want to pick 5 to 10 families a month where I donate my salary back every month. I want to donate my salary back. I think we make $150,000, $160,000. I want to give it back.
that's
Give
big.
it back. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I want Brooklyn to understand we in this together. That's what I want Brooklyn to understand, that we in this together.
That's putting your money where your mouth is right there.
Right. And how
Yeah.
many want to know what? There's so many politicians that are running for this office, right? That they're working because they are time limited in their actual position now. So they're up where they are. The council person, they can't run no more. So now it's more job security. So they jump from one office to the next office, one office to the next office, and that's all they do. I'm not jumping from offices.
Yeah, the motivation could be questioned a little bit there. Like, we know what you're here for. It's not like you're here from Brooklyn. It's not like you're here from Brooklyn. To get a little more context into the Brooklyn Borough president, it's a pretty much an intermediary, I read, between central government and local government, right? That's what kind of what the definition is. You say it's like a elected position. It's not political. So what does that mean, intermediary? Like local government and centralized government. What is that?
So at the end of the day, when I say that I'm not a politician, I'm an elected official, that means that that I don't shake hands under the table. So if you allow these politicians to come into office, right, they already have predetermined agreements with other people, right? So everybody that's running for elected office, right, that are actually players in this, because there's a lot of people that just threw their name in just to get public recognition. Because you have to understand, like, if Channel 11 News, right? If Channel 11 News say, we want to interview Bishop Lamar Whitehead because you're running for borough president. If any other candidate hears about this interview, by law, Channel 11 has to put them on too. Right, by law. So there's a lot of people that's jumping in the race just to make their name spread wild, or just to make their company or their company or their non-for-profit or whatever,
their personal interest or whatever they got going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm donating my salary. That she said what he's giving his salary, or I'm donating it back. That's what I'm doing. So what happens is the borough president is his own institution, right? Right. I don't have to go to Albany to pass any laws. I don't have to go to city council with the mayor, whatever. I got my own power, right? I make my own schedule. I put pressure. I can implement laws, right? I can put laws on the table and put my pressure to make that law go by, right? So I'm my own entity. Right, I'm my own. See, back in the days, there was a mayor of Brooklyn, but they just converted it to the president of Brooklyn, the borough president. Right, so Brooklyn actually had a mayor, its own mayor. Right, so at the end of the day, how do you not know your mayor? How do you not know the name of your mayor? How do you not know what he looks like? That's crazy to me, right? Like, I'm the only candidate that is known throughout Brooklyn, right? Period, point blank. I'm known because of who I am and what I've been doing. I don't need this for fame. I don't need this to be recognized. I'm doing this because God told me to do it, and we're going to do it right. And at the end of the day, Brooklyn is going to become more wealthier, not because finances, but because the people are not suffering. That's the key. And that's what I told them. I said, y'all sitting here talking about the developers and, oh, we're going to make sure the developers, if they building, they got to make sure that low income housing can be in there. I said, I'll get all of that, and I'm going to do that too, but I don't want to talk about that. What I want to talk about is, how do we build up Brooklyn? How do we build up the people in Brooklyn, right? Because if our people are moving out and going down to South Carolina, North Carolina, homeless shelters because they can't afford Brooklyn, right? Then what will Brooklyn look like?
Ghost town.
Right? No, but Brooklyn's going to look like the wealthy. People are going to start moving in when Brooklyn actually move out. See, we got to understand this, right? Let me just say this to y'all, right? Manhattan is Manhattan because people move in and move out, right? CEOs have penthouses, CEOs, Manhattan from 42nd Street or from, let's say, 100th Street on down to the Village, right? A lot of people are very wealthy, but you will very rarely get some people in there saying, well, I've lived here for 30 and 40 years. No, because people move in, they move out. They move in, they move out. The money, that's why it's so wealthy in Manhattan. But Brooklyn is different, right? Brooklyn is the people that keeps the strength and the wealth of Brooklyn. So if Brooklyn start to move out, it's not going to be Brooklyn no more. It's just not going to be Brooklyn no more, right? So how do we keep Brooklyn in, but make Brooklyn strong enough and welcome people in, right? The reason why we feel some type of way about the people coming in Brooklyn, and we're talking about gentrification, right, is because we have been systemically racist. Excuse me, it's been systemically racism against us, and it has been inequality. So therefore, if we can't think to the level as to where we need to be, we're going to feel left out.
That's a fact.
That's it. So why can't we educate ourselves in real estate? Why can't we educate ourselves with rezoning and with land usage and with building credit, right? I want to build the people up. I'm a builder. I want to build the people up. And therefore, so now everybody can have a bite at the apple. That's what I'm talking about.
Let me ask you this. I heard you say education a few times. I heard you say building a few times. Do you think there's anywhere, like, do we have to, is your plan in your mind for like the kids, for the youth? Are some of these plans with the 501Cs, are they for adults? Can everybody get in on this plan? Should people feel like they should? No, I know what you're probably gonna say, but a lot of people feel like, oh, I know I don't have no kids, or my kids are little, I'm not gonna think about it. But I think this is something Black Wall Street, these different things with Black banking and being shareholders in these Black banks, this is big things. We need to all be a part of it.
Let me tell you something, brother. No man left behind unless you want to be left behind.
That's what I
That's it.
wanted to
You know
hear.
what I'm saying? Like, I want to open up all these. Let me tell you something, right? Like, I grew up in Langston Hughes projects as well, right? I grew up in Crown Heights, but hold on one second.
Yeah, you good.
Yeah, my 6-year-old, she's calling me like crazy before she go to bed. I'm a family man, y'all.
Now you can't send that to voicemail. She'll call that back relentlessly right there. That's boss right there.
Look, daddy on the interview, see? Say hi.
Hey,
Dad,
you.
I'll be off. As soon as I get off, daddy call you before you go to sleep, okay? All right? Mm-hmm. All right, love you. Call you back. Okay. All right, baby. Yeah, that's my 6-year-old. I have 2 daughters and one son.
Is that the baby?
Yeah, that's a baby. Yeah.
Let me ask you something, man. You wear multiple hats, man. You about to wear the Brooklyn Borough President hat, the Bishop, Daddy, the husband hat. Like, how do you juggle it, man? How do you feel? You walk into each situation, man. From the daddy phone call to the talk about Borough President to.
I'm just blessed, man. I'm blessed to have a beautiful wife. I'm blessed to have a beautiful family. I'm blessed to come from Brooklyn, where when I was 6 weeks old, my father was beat and strangled to death by 16 police officers from the 77 precinct because of the color of his skin. And I had to grow up without a dad, right? So society has already created a way for me to fail. Then I was sent away to prison illegally. And by the grace of God, I got out and was set free. And so when I look at those cards that I was dealt, all I could do is love what I do. I love my church. I love my family. I love people, right? And I don't take this thing lightly, right? So that's what makes me enjoy. See, we have to enjoy where God placed us, right? And I enjoy what God has done for me. I enjoy him even placing me in a position to be who I am. I'm a presiding prelate. That's the highest office. I have a church in Brooklyn. I have a church in Atlanta. I have over 25, 30 preachers, deacons, deaconettes that, follow me and follow my leadership. And all of them are growing. All of them are winning, and it's just, it's a privilege and an honor, man. So I actually look at what I'm doing as a privilege and an honor by God, right? For him to trust me with his people. And that's why I can't mess this thing up, man. Like, I'm not out. Yeah, man, I want to hold my wife's hand. I want the people, if the United States of America can have a Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, why can't Brooklyn have a Lamar Whitehead and an Asia Whitehead as their first family, right?
We will. We will.
Right, right,
That's on next right now.
right.
What explain to me what a bishop that what is a bishop? Like the bishop, the title bishop, that what is that? I see the plaques on the wall. I know that sounds like a well studied man. That sounds like a well listened to man. Explain what that is to me, bro.
So just to give you a more, hold on one second, y'all, because I have somebody coming over. I'm gonna open the door
Nah.
for you.
Nah, do your thing, bro.
I just have, hold on one second,
You
y'all.
good. I'm here with the bishop, our next borough president, man. We just chopping it up. It's a friend of mine for years. I opened up, I remember him on the sideline as like a young teenager yelling and screaming with his football pads on, helping us coach another team. And we actually coached to the championship. And it's my first time chopping it up with him probably in like at least 30 years, as crazy as that may sound. And yo, Shivy, bless up, Don. That's my guy, Shivy, man. I ain't gonna hold him. I know he's a busy man. We're gonna get into a little bit with the police thing. I want to hear more about his journey to becoming a bishop and owning these churches and running these institutions that we need more of when it comes to spirituality. Check the link in the bio. We got a lot going on. We are Flatbush, man. We are a platform of the people. So this is where we at with it. We just here with the people. Crave, what up? Shibby, what up? Pop, what up? First lady, future first lady of Brooklyn. I tip my hat to you. Peace, sis. Yeah, I ain't gonna hold my brother too much longer. I definitely want to get an inspirational word from him. Um, we're touching on his journey right now. Like I said, I know him as a fiery teenager, had a lot of energy, and was a leader then too. So this doesn't really surprise me. Yeah, he said programs for the youth is definitely yes, sis. He said programs for the youth is definitely on there. He came up in the same era we came up in, so he understands the importance of these things in the community. It's not just somebody like he said that read it from afar and checked it out. And me personally, we get a lot of businessmen that run the city, and I always think that's cool, and that run positions in the city as businessmen. But what I think is also dope is that this brother here, he not only is he a businessman, but he's also a spiritual man. So certain just with certain levels of integrity and stuff like that is involved. You got a brother that's spiritual and business. We need a businessman to run New York City, but I think my brother, because he's spiritual and business, I just think it's a dope conversation. Chill, bro. I was just popping your collar while you was gone, man. I was
Brother, I'm sorry about that. But go ahead.
good.
What were you saying now?
We was talking about just that path to being a bishop and what that is, that leadership role. How did that come?
Well, I never knew. I never knew. Well, my grandmother, I used to go to church with my grandmother, my mom, and I never really, I used to go see the preacher, and that was it. I wasn't really into ministry like that. But as I gotten older, I was more involved in the churches, going to church, and I started to become an adjutant for another bishop. And then God says, I want you to be a minister. So I got ordained as a minister, and then God just really started moving me from there. So the bishopric is very important in our community. What a bishop is, the bishop is the highest position. I'm a presiding prelate, which means that I'm a bishop over bishops. So a lot of people say, Dag, man, why you got this ring right here represents who I am. The red ruby means that I'm a presiding prelate. If you see a purple or fuchsia ring, he's just a regular bishop. A presiding prelate, I can consecrate bishops, right? I can consecrate overseers. I can ordain pastors. I can ordain ministers. I have the power to ordain ministers and ministries. I can ordain deacons. So I have that power. That's why you see um, all of my certifications of me elevating in my ranks to give me the power to do what needs to be done. And this is why in my ministry, a lot of my preachers, they come from the streets. They never knew who they was. And when they got under the ministry, they see who they are. The bishopric is a very powerful position. I never knew it was so much jealousy in the church, right? Yeah, it's a lot of jealousy in the church. I never knew that. A lot of pastors are very jealous of me because I'm not a part of the good old boys, right? Because I was out in these streets, man. I think I created standing on the couch, right? I think I was one of the first standing on the couches acting crazy. But when you out in the streets and you live the fast life and you turn yourself around, turn your life around, that's it. Like I don't have time for womanizing women in the church when they come for healing, right? Like I don't got time for cheating on my wife, right? Like why am I gonna marry you if I'm gonna cheat on you, right? So it
Yeah,
just doesn't make sense to me, right?
yeah,
So and this is the dynamics and this is the culture that I want to bring to Brooklyn, not religion, but discipline, right? To be disciplined. Right, the Bible talks in the book of Genesis. The Bible talks about Joseph, and Joseph was the first in command of his master's house. His master was the leading militant soldier of Pharaoh, right? So that means his master was the one who controlled the whole army of Egypt, right? And he was in his house. He was in his master's house, and his master's wife wanted to sleep with him. And he said, "No, I can't sleep with you." He said, "My master has given me power over everything in his house, in his mansion, in his kingdom, but he didn't give me power over you." He said, "And even if I sleep with you," he said, "what would I say to God?" So that's how I move. If I turn my back on Brooklyn, right?
yeah.
What will I say?
To
How
God.
say it to God, right?
Yeah,
And at the end of the day, Brooklyn, we need someone that have a moral compass, right? And listen, I have Muslim friends, I have Buddhist friends, I have Hindu friends. It doesn't matter what religion you are, right? Just because I'm a pastor doesn't mean that I'm trying to pastor you, right? Like
right, right.
at the end of the day, we have to come together. So at the end of the day, the principle is, right, no matter what religion you are, you serve a God of discipline, period. Even Satanists, they serve their God, the devil, but they have a discipline to who they serve. So at the end of the day, if we look at the discipline level, the moral compass, I have a moral compass. My moral compass says that I cannot turn my back on people because God says that I can't, right? And
Right.
that's the key, moral compass. And we need that in order for Brooklyn to elevate.
That's powerful. That's powerful words, bro. That's powerful. Well, you said something a minute ago, man. I don't know where this might go with people, but I want to know personally, right? This is me personally. I'm sure somebody else might want to know. I always hear people say, God spoke to me or whatever, right? I want to know what that's like because I feel like I don't want to miss nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like, you know what I mean? No, seriously, because sometimes I see my name, TAJ on the license plate with numbers after it. I'm like, oh my gosh, that sign? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you be talking about something and the sun will come out and you feeling real good. Like, what is that like when somebody says it was your time? I hear people say it was my time. God told me I was supposed to do that. What does that sound like?
Well, that sounds like what it sounds like to you. Every individual have its own sound. And it doesn't matter about what the license plates say. And I think that's just more of a coincidence.
Okay.
Look at things as signs. But in order for you to understand what God is saying to you, you have to understand scripture. The scripture is God's language, right? How in the world can you understand what God is saying if you don't understand his language? Right. And I don't get caught up into what people say about me. I want to get caught up in what God said about me, right? Because too many people will bless you to blind you, right? And I ain't got to,
Mm.
right? Because there are a lot of people that are book smart, right, but spiritually stupid. And there are a lot of people that are so spiritually smart that they're book stupid, right? So we have to understand, right? And I don't want to use them terminologies, but I'm up here with we are Flatbush, so I can say a little stupidness sometime, right? They don't like us
Yeah.
stupid and whatever. Anyway,
We good.
but
We with the people.
yeah, we were the people, right? So at the end of the day, I'm tired of young men and young women being bamboozled by people that want to use them because there's a lot of older people that lost out on their 20s and their 30s. And what they're doing now, they're manipulating 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds, and they're living what they missed through their life. And I want to be able to let people understand, listen, you can get it. You can get what God has for you, right? And I, as the Brooklyn Borough president, I want to be able to open the door for young people. Like I have some young videographers right here with me right now, right? And at the end of the day, you know, we're about to have a meeting to take over, right? But I'm not going to just leave them after that. Like, okay, well, you have me here. Okay, whatever. No, these young men are going to be with me throughout. Right. And at the end of the day, the borough president, over 2.6 million people. If I say these are my producers, imagine how much money they're going to make on the outside. Right. Like,
Yes. And future endeavors. Just leveraging that for future endeavors,
that's,
you know?
you have to understand, right, that Brooklyn, they call Brooklyn the baby UN, the baby United Nation, which means I can go to any country I want because they have someone there in Brooklyn that's from their country. So I can sit down with presidents, I can sit down with prime ministers, I can sit down with whomever to open the door up for whomever, right? Because Brooklyn is behind them. When is the last time you said, yo, my brother is the Brooklyn Borough president, and I can have a meeting with him?
It's
Do you
coming
understand?
up. I'm gonna be saying that soon.
Right. And this is the wave we want to open, right? I just want to let everybody know this, right? The primaries is June 22nd, right? What does that mean? New York is a Democratic state. The Brooklyn Borough president seat is a Democratic seat. It's not a Republican seat. So nobody's going to be like, if it is somebody going to be running, I'm talking about the Republicans probably pulled a taxi driver and just threw him in over there. But it's literally, I'm serious. I think they said this Republican that's running he works at a meat market. And literally, like they don't care because they don't have no power here. So at the end of the day, it's a Democratic seat, which means that the election June 22nd in the primaries, whoever wins that wins the race, right? So once I win June 22nd, the Democratic primaries, that's it. Everybody in Brooklyn is going to get behind me because I won the Democratic Party. And therefore in November, right, everybody Democrat has to vote for me because I'm the only one.
Only Democrat, yeah.
The Democrat.
So that's June 22nd.
June 22nd is the primary election. June 22nd is the primary election. Right now,
sorry, go ahead.
Right now, what I'm doing is I'm petitioning. I'm doing petitions, right? So you have to have 1,200 signatures from Brooklynites. So y'all going to be seeing me throughout this week getting signatures. We have to have 1,200 registered Brooklynites that are Democratic voters that live in Brooklyn to sign my petition. So I'm going to start putting up my location so people can come out this week, because we have to turn everything in by next week. So this week we're going to go hard. We want to get at least 5,000 signatures just in case they cross over some people or cross out some. We want to get at least 5,000 signatures, so therefore I can be on the ballot, because if I'm not on the ballot, you can't vote for me.
Exactly. I got a I left you my math in your inbox. My mom, she's on the Church Women United board, and she's a deaconess at her church. She's heavy with the churches throughout Brooklyn, and that's her thing, man. So whatever petitions you need to get passed around, we got you here. We all Flatbush. Mom Duke is definitely. As soon as I tell her, she's gonna push whatever petition, and she'll have all her people on that. So I was about to ask you, what do you need from the people? I guess the petition is a great start.
Yeah. That what I need for the people is spread love. Is the Brooklyn way. Spread my name. That's it. You know what I mean?
It's go time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, let me tell you something. It's so go time right now, y'all. We got, let me see, March is about to be over. We got April, May. We got 2.5 months. Pure push. Now, this next phase, what we're doing right now, right? Because the first phase is raising money. We've been raising money, right? This next phase is the most important phase. This is when we win. We are pushing a whole rock the vote in Brooklyn. I want to be able to sign up 150,000 new voters, right? That's what I need. I want to sign up 150 to 200,000 new voters, right? Rock the vote, right? So if we get that 18 to 45 range, everybody signing up to vote, sign up to vote in Brooklyn, right? And we reached 150,000, right? The key is we built our own army. So now when we all vote, we win by a landslide. We don't care about no ranked choice, nothing. We don't care about none of that. We get the 51% of the voters. That's it. They can rank choice, whatever. This young man in Queens, he just ran a race with ranked choice voting, right? Because it was a what they call it, a special election. He got 60% of the votes. He didn't care about no ranked choice voting. He got 60% of the votes. So we right now, from here on out, can get 150 to 200,000 new voters. Right? We win
That's
by a
big.
landslide. We win by a
That's
landslide,
big.
and we got numbers. All we got to do is vote. So I'm going to I'm about to create something huge. We're going to probably roll it out towards the end of this week, and it's going to be really, really big. It's going to shake Brooklyn. It's going to shake
Yo,
Brooklyn.
man, just keep us informed. Like, like I always say, man, our platform is your platform. You know what I mean? We want to make sure that people know whatever you got going on. Let us know, man. We're gonna push it out there. Like I said, I'm gonna get on that with the petitions because I want to see you keep doing your thing, man.
Yeah,
I know what's gonna happen. So I know it's contagious. Good things is contagious. So
yeah.
you know what I mean?
But I want you to inbox me again, right? Because I get a lot of
I
inboxes.
figure as much. I'll do it. I'll hit you again.
Inbox me again, and then I'm gonna text you my number, right? And or I'll just have my assistant to tell the young lady who called to just give you
Yeah,
my
on my team, she'll hit you. I got you.
yeah. She just tell her hit, and she'll give you my direct number so we could talk. Because lastly, I want to say this: in Flatbush, right, in the 40th district, some statistics over there is there are 240,000 residents, right? And there are 94,000 registered voters, right? But only 14,000 people came out to vote, and that's in a certain section of Flatbush,
That's the
right?
40th district.
40th district, yeah, the 40th district. Now I don't know all the parameters of the 40th district, but that's a part of Flatbush. It's two. All you got to do is put what's the population in Brooklyn in the 40th district. Google that, and it'll pop up where the parameters is.
All right,
However,
we're gonna change that, man. We're gonna change that.
that's 240,000 people. Only 94,000 are registered to vote, and only
14.
14,000 came out to vote. So we're about to put Brooklyn in the frenzy, y'all. Watch this. And all week, y'all going to be seeing new and more people that endorse me. I want to thank the endorsements by Fabio Foreign, Akon endorsed me, Foxy Brown, Dane Dash,
All right.
uh,
I see Fab.
Fabulous, yeah, Fabulous endorsed me, Fredro Starr, Mano, DJ,
DJ
Stack,
Stacks.
DJ
Yeah, I was about to
Stacks,
say DJ
yeah,
Stacks is on tomorrow talking about the things that's going on in Haiti right now. Yes, DJ Stacks is a
yeah,
friend of the
yeah.
platform.
So we pulling them all in, man. We pull them. I got a whole layout too that's coming out this week, man, and that's what I'm doing, man. I want to be endorsed by the people.
Well, before I let you go, I know you got your hands full always. We appreciate your time. I don't know if this has ever been done, man. We do a lot of lives. We talk to a lot of people from across everywhere. Say a prayer for us, man. Like end us off with something positive, something spiritual coming from the heart, man. Whatever you got for us, man. End us off with that.
Right. So what I would like to do, and what I would to say in ending some words, right? I would like to encourage each and every one of you by understanding that we need to have a foundation, something that we can stand on, right? If we threw our clothes in the closet with no hangers, it would be a mess. And this is why we don't understand the message, because we don't have nothing to hang the words on. I want to give you some words of encouragement that this campaign and this presidency is built off of the backs of 6 P's. The first 3 P's in this first section is from the prison to the pulpit to the office of the borough president. But in order for me to get there, I had to understand that I had a purpose, a process, and a promise. The purpose, process, and a promise is your foundation. You must understand that you was born with a purpose. Jeremiah 1:5 say, before I formed thee, I knew you. While you was in your mother's womb, I sanctified you, and I called you to be a prophet of the nations. So you have to establish that you don't need nobody's validation. You don't need no one's approval, because God made you with a purpose. But in order for you to understand that purpose, you have to go through a process. In order for you to understand your promise, you have to understand that the process was made for you to value the promise. We must understand that we go through the process, heartache and pain, trials and tribulations. Some of us have felonies. Yes. Parolees, you can vote. Yes. Felons, you can vote. Yes, I understand you might have some young ladies might have been domestically abused, but guess what? This bishop is creating something called the Nations of Champions, where I'm going to go after domestic violence. I'm going to go after human trafficking. I'm going to go after things that have been destroying our women at large, no matter what color they are, because I understand my purpose, I understand my process, and I understand that God has a promise for me. So with those words, I need to encourage each and every one of you that my moral compass is by God, period, point blank. Allow your moral process or your moral compass have a direction. It has to have a direction, and it has to have a foundation. Now, I'm not trying to push religion on anyone, but I serve a mighty God, and I believe and trust in him, because he have approved me, validated me when everybody disapproved me and made me invalid. And he showed me that I'm equal to what he said about me. And whatever God said about me, and whatever people are saying about me that's contrary to what God says, they become an enemy to what God said. So it's none of my business. Let God do what he needs to do. And then whatever they talking about you is none of your business. That's the words that I want to give you guys today.
Damn, bro. Like, yo, people always be like, yo, in church, there's always a saying in church. They be like, Pastor was talking to you this week, right here. I ain't never feel so direct like Pastor was talking to me, man. Yeah, I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that, man. For everybody, I'm sure everybody was enlightened. We all feel better right now.
Yeah. Follow me, y'all. Y'all can follow me. Y'all can come to my church. I'm right there at 922 Rimpson Avenue.
I got the website. If y'all not familiar, if y'all not tapped in, the website is put up here by the First Lady, and please tap in, man. Yeah, he said he about to put Brooklyn in a frenzy. Yo, I appreciate you, my brother. I
Thank you
definitely
so much.
appreciate you,
So
man.
much. And all the women that are watching you, man, y'all can tune into my wife every weekday, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Right there on her page. She
Is
has
that
the
Lady
breakfast.
Asia champion?
That's right. So all the ladies, man, y'all go ahead, because she talked that talk. Yeah, she
And we
talked that.
need that. We need that sisterhood, man. We need that to get stronger and stay solidified, man.
Thank you so much, brother, for having me. And listen, I want to let you guys know, anytime you want me on your show, let me know. Let me know. My team will work it out. They already know that you are my guys, and my schedule is crazy. But just like how I just got off the plane a couple of hours ago, I had to run over here. I got back here to make sure that I'm going to be on. So you guys are my
So I appreciate you, bro.
love you, man.
Yes, sir. Love you, man.
Thank you, bro.
Yes, sir.